Hi guys, this is Sal. Welcome back to my podcast. How you guys doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm okay too. I actually had a nice espresso. I mean a real one, an Italian one, not the crap you buy from Starbucks or so. Anyway, welcome to the second episode of Sal of the Boat. In this episode, I'm gonna answer some of the most asked questions. Most of the Italian people I know here in America, at one point they ask me, "Hey Sal, I have an Italian last name. Do you know what it means? Or can you read it correctly for me? Or even like, what part of Italy you think my last name is from?" So I'm gonna try to answer some of those questions. But first of all, let's do a little bit of history. Using a last name as a label for a family was really popular during the Roman Empire. But with the barbarian invasion and the fall of the Roman Empire, the last name was not really used, except if there was a really important family. It was during the Middle Age, when population of Italy started growing back in number, that was really important to identify people with a second name, in particular to avoid confusion between people with the same first name. And with the Council of Trento in 1563, the Church declared mandatory to take records of all people with the name and the last name. So after that year, if there was a baptism or a marriage or a death and the person didn't have a last name, there was just chosen the word that better described the person. And from there on, it became the name of the family. It can sound a little confused, but you can understand this better later on this episode. So you gotta know that in the last few centuries, millions of Italians emigrated in America. So there are hundreds of thousands Italian last names in United States. I'm gonna use for my examples some of the 150 most common Italian last names in America to describe the meanings. The easiest way and the most common way to assign a last name to a person that didn't have a last name was to use the name of the father or of the mother. That's how most of the Italian last names are from, like De Luca means son of Luca, De Marco, son of Marco. Same thing with De Stefano, D'Angelo, Donofrio, De Simone, Di Pietro, De Vito. Something really similar happened in the Anglo-Saxon countries, which the last name became the name of the father with the word son, like Johnson, Jackson, Smithson, Benson. Anyway, coming back to the Italian last name. So let's say you traveled in your life and you moved for work or for any other reason to another town. You were not known by your father. No one will know who was your father in a different city. But they will probably know where you're from. So, and that's what became lately the last name. That was like the land of origin. Like Romano if you were from Rome, Palermo if you were from Palermo, same thing with Sorrentino, Greco if you were Greek, Toscano if you were from Tuscany, Lombardo, Albanese if you were from Albany, Messina, Tedesco, Napolitano if you were from Napoli, Pugliese, Salerno, D'Arienzo, Da Vinci if you were from a small town called Vinci. It could even happen like there was not a physical city, but was just a place where you come from. So you can become Marino if you were from the mare, from the sea. Costa, that means coast. Piazza or strada, that means square and street. Or even La Rocca if you were from a mountain. Another way that the last name had origins was if you had a distinctive mark like your hair. So let's say you had red hair, your last name became Rossi, that means red, or Russo in Neapolitan dialect. Same thing with Bianchi, Bruno, Ricci, that means curly hair, Caruso, that means not hair, or even your eyes, like Verdi if you probably had green eyes. Another easy way to recognize someone was for his job or function. So, let's say if you were an iron worker, probably your last name was Ferraro. If you were a castle keeper, your last name was Castellano. Same thing with Monaco, Cavallaro, that means horse keeper, Vaccaro, that literally means cowboy, and so on. A few of them keep the royalty mark as a last name, like Conte, that means count, but even Duca, Visconte, Marchese, Barone, or even the opposite, like let's say you were orphan and they didn't know where your parents were from or who were your parents, they just give you a made-up name, and they usually use church name like Madonna, that means Holy Mary, same thing with Maria, or De Santis, De Angelis, that means saint and angels. A really particular case is the last name Esposito. That's actually one of the top 10 Italian last names in America. Esposito literally means exposed. It takes the name from the wheel of expose. There was a particular structure by the church where the mother, usually someone that was not married or that can feed the kid, used to abandon the kids the way that the church can take care of them. But I'm gonna explain this particular case in another episode of the podcast. So we can keep going and say that some last names were from animals or plants, like Gallo, that means rooster, Leone, Volpe, that means fox, Falco or Falcone, Grillo, Pesci, or like I said, plants like Viola, Fiore, La Rosa, Melo, Garofalo. A lot of last names are from action or objects or quality or body part or food. Let's make some example. Some action can be battaglia, that means battle. Name from objects can be carbone, mazza, fontana, lanza. Lanza in particular is an ancient word, a dialectal word for lancia. That's weapon. Some last name from quality were like bello. I don't need to translate this one. Grande, gentile means gentle. Amato means loved. Mancini means use the left hand. Some body part name were like testa for head, spalla for shoulder. Some of the last name originated from food were farina, that means flour, pepe, that means pepper. So we gotta specify something over here. A lot of last name during the centuries have been misspelled or changed. Even here in Ellis Island, really often, when the people were not able to spell proper English, they usually were given a different name. So we are almost at the end of the episode, but I first want to say this is time to send the kids to the bed, because the last name I'm gonna go to say right now, they're originated from bad words or curse. They actually real name, and they come from, like I said, bad words in Italian. You can double check on the white pages or on Google if you want. The first last name I'm gonna say it's cazzo. I don't think I need to translate this one. If you don't know what it means, please listen to the episode number 1 of this podcast. Another last name is fica. That literally means, I don't know if I can say on podcast. Let's say vagina to make you understand, but in a really bad way. Other last name are zizza and tetta, that literally means boob. Pisello and passera, I'm not gonna translate those ones, it's up to you guys to figure out. Another one, it's chiappa. Chiappa, it's a really fun word. Literally means one of your butt cheek, and I'm not even sure that's how you call in English. Let's say half of your butt. I don't know how you call in English. Another last name from a bad word, it's troia. That literally means slut, but in a really offensive way. And the last one is bocchino, that I'm not gonna translate, but in English you could write a short way with the letter B and a J. So I guess that's all for this second episode. If you have any question or info about Italian last name, or you wanna know what's the meaning of your last name, please reach out to me. Thank you for listening. If you have missed, please listen to the first episode. I remind you that you can find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Alla prossima, ciao belli!